Hot sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Hot sports all plays.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Easy Money, a sports betting show. We're gonna jump into some UFC preview and predictions today for this fight night, KATTAR versus EMMETT. If you're new to Easy Money, we were 7-1 yesterday overall on our picks, and my best picks were 4-0 yesterday. Last week I had a record of 26-12 overall, 14-3. So been pretty hot on especially Major League Baseball here the last couple weeks. I'm joined today.
I need you to message me.
I need you to
message me every bet from now on, bro. I need you to message me, bro, because I'm scared to bet, man. Because I feel like with my luck, the one time I start betting, all of a sudden you're gonna go like 0-27.
Well, see, that's my problem. If I was actually I didn't put money on none of these yesterday. If I would have went and put money on them, I probably wouldn't have got none of them right.
100%, bro. 100%. But thank you for having me, my guy. Always fun, always a pleasure to be in the presence of a man with a beard like that. I wish I could be you when I grow up, Chris. You're my idol.
I wish it would keep growing. I'm trying to get it down. I want to go basically like ZZ Top.
Sheesh.
That's what I'd like to get to eventually, but it's not growing fast enough for me.
You're getting impatient. You're like, fuck this waiting.
Well, like the summer's the worst when you go outside and it's 100 degrees out. I'm like, man, I need to go shave.
Yep, with this, man. Oh my god, man. I'll be sweat like a pig so fast.
I forget what I was. Oh yeah, I was going to share it real quick. But anyway, we're jumping in this UFC first. It's a pretty good card, really, for a fight night. It's not too bad of a card. The odds are all crazy, though, man. They got a bunch of guys as big favorites. There should be a decent card coming off that card of last weekend. Last weekend, I went 7-4, and you were 6-5. My picks from last week.
Oh yeah, that was honestly it was a very interesting card, bro. Glover didn't retire. I understood why, because he was winning the scorecard. Like it actually came out that he was, according to the judges' scorecards, he was up. And if they were going to give him that final round up until that point, when he hurt Yuri, if he just commits, all he has to do is commit. He commits, and he's probably knocking him out. The fact that he went for a takedown, I understand it's as a grappler, as a practitioner of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I understand your instinct is to grab him and go. I get it. I understand it. But you had the guy hurt. You had him hurt real bad. So Glover, you gotta wear this L, brother. And I like Glover Teixeira. I respect him. I think he's a phenomenal. I think he's a living legend. Phenomenal fighter. Based on what people who he trains with, he's a great teacher. But you got to wear this L, man. And I said that he needs to retire if he really doesn't want to. If I'm Dana White, I do with him what I would heavily consider doing with Conor McGregor. Give him a title shot. Once you get trampled in that title shot, you're going to have to look in the mirror and go, damn, I can't do this anymore. Because I think Glover put everything he had into that fight with Yuri Prochazka. I think he had everything left in his tank. I think he poured everything out into it. And I think if they rematch, I don't think Glover wins. And frankly, I think Yuri knocks him out within 2 rounds.
It's crazy the level that Glover's fighting at that age. But yeah, I wish he would retire. I'd rather remember him for going out like that than seeing the shell of himself out there still trying to compete.
Don't be BJ Penn.
Oh yeah, BJ Penn. He fought way too many fights. It's like you gotta go, man.
Yeah, but he fought way too many. You don't want to be like BJ Penn.
I got to see the last 2 fights of that card. I didn't get to see the Zhang knockout. I'd like to see
my God. It reminds me of Yuri Prohashka's knockout of Dominic Reyes, bro. Where it was just like that little weird spin. It was nuts. Joanna Jędrzejczyk dropped so quick. I ain't gonna lie, I almost cried. Because afterwards, when she was doing, like, you know, they interviewed her, she actually waited to be interviewed. And while she was, you know, they asked her and she retired. And what hit me is she said she felt like she let everybody down. And the reason that kind of bothers me, I always felt like Joanna Jędrzejczyk never got the proper respect she always deserved.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if you talk about pioneers of the sport, talk about Ronda Rousey, talk about the girls like Miesha Tate, you know, like those girls over in Strikeforce. Then you talk about the all-time greats in Amanda Nunes and Valentina Shevchenko. What people forget was before anyone knew how to pronounce Valentina's last name, and before Amanda Nunes was the double champ, there was a stretch of about, I want to say 2.5, maybe 3 years, that Joanna Jędrzejczyk was not only a pioneer because she was the first dominant champion in the UFC, like the first female dominant champion who, when she got her title, you were like, I'm not betting against her. Like when Ronda got knocked out by Holly Holm and she came back against Amanda, the only people who gave Ronda a chance were one of 2 people. Idiots who were her fan, or her fans who were too scared to embrace the reality that Ronda just wasn't it anymore. Joanna Jędrzejczyk was, and I don't care what anybody says, I will say it, so I'm fighting Brett, and if you disagree, we can fight. She was the first true dominating women's champion. And while she was building that road, she was one of the first females people started pegging as the GOAT. Like, people forget that, like, before Valentina Shevchenko, if you watch this sport, people who are knowledgeable was not screaming that Ronda Rousey was the GOAT. Nobody was saying that. People were saying it was Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
And people were saying Jędrzejczyk was one of the best pound for pound fighters in the whole UFC.
Say that one more time.
I said a lot. She was the pound for pound best fighter in the UFC. They would make that comparison a lot.
Now notice how you didn't say female, because usually they separate them. But yet, like Joanna Jędrzejczyk was one of the first women to not only be like, oh yeah, we should probably consider it, but they legitimately considered it because of how great she was. And I think it's unfair that people forget. People forget how great she really was, man. I really do. I always feel like she's been disrespected.
Well, and without Jędrzejczyk, you wouldn't have the lower weight classes in the women's division.
No. So again, probably a freaking near. But I got you, man.
And it's still at her age, as many fights as she has had, she's still good. I mean, she's not herself anymore, but she's still she's still competitive.
Yeah. So, but I honestly, shout out to her and Zhang Weili for putting out a banger, because it's very rare that, like, obviously, their first fight, it's legendary. You'll never be able to replicate it.
Yeah,
you're never going to be able to. Shout out to both of them, both Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Zhang Weili. Shout out to both of them for trying, because they tried to replicate it so bad. They were like, I swear to God, right before their fight, I'm pretty sure they were kind of extra, like, stretching their legs out in the hall or whatever. And I think they bumped into each other. I think they shook hands. And I think Weili wanted to have a conversation with Joanna. So they both went to go find a translator. And I'm pretty sure Zhang Weili was like, you want to just do what we did last time? And I'm positive Joanna was like, fuck it, let's do it. Give me a hematoma. Let's go out there and put out a banger. I swear to God that's what happened. Mike says, good morning to everyone named Clay. Again, man, weird you want to say that when he had arguably his worst game. But, hey, live your life. Pop off. Live your life, But yeah, man, they tried. They really did try to put out a banger of a rematch. And again, they were. And Joanna admits it. She was like, look, that little spin back visit, I didn't see it coming. So
yeah, I missed. I got to see the highlights of it. I got to see the Shevchenko and Santos fight. What'd you think of that fight? I thought it was a lot closer than what they acted like it was. I thought Santos done a pretty good job in that fight.
I had Santos winning. I think she won. I don't care what anybody says.
That's what me and my dad thought, that Santos won as well.
I thought she won.
And everybody kept saying Shevchenko was ahead in the head, and I'm thinking Santos.
I don't know how she was. I'm watching, and I'm like, Santos is literally. Now, mind you, I picked Valentina to win. So this lets you know that I'm being legit about what I'm saying.
I picked Santos to win. That was one of the ones I missed.
Right. So, excuse me. I straight up thought Santos won. I thought on every facet of the fight, Santos on the feet and on the ground just had the advantage. She was doing whatever she wanted to do. A lot of people thought she looked nervous heading into the octagon. I didn't know where that came from. I was like, I don't know why y'all think she's nervous, but whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want. But for me, I thought Santos won. I really do. Like, if you were to ask me, I would have given it to her. I don't know why she didn't win. I don't, because every time I ask the question, people go, "Oh yeah, Valentina won." I go, "How?" And then they stutter. But I never knew you could stutter while texting. I never knew that. That was the first time I found out you can. But I just kind of just shrugged my shoulders and said, you know what? I think this is just a situation where, Chris, I alluded to this last week when we were talking about it. Sometimes we look at a person and we build them up so highly that it's almost impossible for them to lose because of our perception of them. And I think that's what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened with her because of what she done against Nunes, and because everybody held Nunes so high, and the only person that gave Nunes a decent fight was Shevchenko. So everybody put her up there, but
before Juliana Pena obviously won, but
before Pena,
But that's just me. I think
Shevchenko is going this way. I think she's on the downside of her career.
Before I say that, I want to see how she looks at her next defense, because I will say I think you can make that argument. No, she didn't. But here's the problem with that, though.
It could have been, you could have a bad weight cut. I mean, there could be different things.
But here's the thing, man. I don't think it was a weight cut, because like this is why I want to wait, because I don't think it was Valentina looking bad. I just think Santos is that good.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's a bad. I don't think it's because Valentina Shevchenko looks bad or anything like that. I genuinely believe Santos is that good. I said this was gonna be a close fight.
Mm-hmm.
And when I said that, I had some people reach out and go, "Yo, what do you mean a close fight?" I'm like, "Look, man, I understand how we look at Valentina Shevchenko. I understand that, I really do. But, dude, Santos, she's a problem."
I picked Santos to win that fight, and I've watched Shevchenko watch almost all of her fights, but I thought Santos would be able to hurt her some on her feet, and she was able to get the takedown. Man, I think Santos looked awful tough. I don't know who's Shevchenko going to fight next, though. I mean, they're running out of people in that division. Which I think Santos will probably get a rematch at some point, or at least going to get a higher ranked fighter. They got to move her up after that performance.
Who?
Santos. They got to give her another good opponent, not try to move her back down, move her out of or. You know, I mean, I think she lost that performance. She should get
another. In my eyes, this is just me. In my eyes, she's the flyweight champion. So I don't care what anyone says. In my opinion, she's a flyweight champion.
They got to give her another big fight. They can't just give her some. If I'm her, I'm not just taking a nobody. I want a big.
I'm fight. Rematching.
Yeah,
I'm rematching. Because, like I said, you can make a legitimate argument that Santos won. You could make that argument. Yeah. Couple that with the fact, like you said, Valentina's almost done cleaning out this division. Yeah. So it's like, what else are you going to do? Me personally, because of how razor close it was, because of all that, I'm going for a rematch. And to be honest, if I'm Valentina, I'm going for a rematch, but I'm going for a rematch for one reason and one reason only. The legitimate reason. And that is to just be like, all right, we're stalling. We're going to give it time. I want Amanda Nunes. Yeah. That's me. I think Valentina wants that fight, but I think she's being smart with it. She wants it to happen at the right time. She wants it to happen organically. She doesn't want to have to be like, oh, I'm worried about, my opponent and then also thinking about Amanda. It's almost as if when I'm thinking about Amanda, it's because we're going to fight. That's it. If we're not going to fight, I'm not going to devote any mental energy to her. So I would rematch, and then right after that rematch, I would look for her to go up against Amanda Nunes. Or hell, shoot, forget Amanda. Imagine if Juliana Pena beats Amanda in the rematch.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Now all of a sudden, you got a super duper star in Juliana Pena.
Yep.
Dana White goes, hey, remember how Amanda was double champ? How you feel about that? Have her go up and face Valentina. I mean,
yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I think there's some ways you can, spin this. But if this is just me, I think Valentina needs that rematch. I think her and Santos needs to run it back because, again, this is just me, man. In my opinion, man, I don't think she lost that fight. I think we should have heard the words and knew. And it's kind of funny because during the fight, I was like, Amanda lost. Valentina's about to lose. This is actually the perfect time for them to fight. And then it's almost as if the MMA gods heard me and they were like, LOL, good one, kid. And then they gave it to Valentina.
See, if that could have happened, and you could have got Santos and Pena for title. Or at a catchweight or something. That would be. I would like to see that.
Banger. Yes. That would be a banger. Oh my Lord. But yeah, I'm with you. I think Santos won. I'm with you. I think Santos won.
I did too. Like I said, what I got to see seemed like it was a pretty good card. I got home late from the wrestling show, so I just got to see the last two fights. I was hoping to get to see the Wing Lee fight because I'd like to see that knockout live. People say, oh, you can see the replay. It's not the same when you watch a highlight of it as if you watch it. If you're sitting there watching the fight, it just happens all of a sudden. Not the same when you know it's coming.
Not at all.
But first fight in prelims for this week, we'll jump in there. Got Kyle Dacus against Roman Dolce. Or Doldice, I think is how they pronounce it. But he's Doldice is
Dolce and Gabbana
underdog. Dacus is a minus 290 favorite. You got a lot of big odds or big favorites in this week's card.
Yep.
I mean, I think this will be a good fight, but Doldice's cardio is what worries me. he seems to tire out after the first round, and he does that against Dawkins. I think he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
And
That's one of the main reasons I like Dawkins in this fight.
100%. Again, I like what Roman brings to the table because I don't want to poo-poo on it and make it see. By the way, P-E-R. It's S-U-P-E-R. Once you can spell, I'll perhaps look at you serious. Until then, I'll be over here. I will give it to Roman that he has gotten some wins in decision, but it always seems like the third round is where he loses because he's just so beat, and it's almost as if he tries to do, like, for example, he lost not his last fight, the fight before that. He lost it because he started slow in the first round, so he gave that round away. He exploded in the second round, which was solid, but then the third round he was just so tired that he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So it's this awkward thing where because of his cardio, he's not a fighter that can kind of pull with you and throw away round number one. He can't do that because his cardio isn't built like that. A lot of the wins, like we saw against Alon, he wins when he wins by decision. He explodes in the first round, and the second round he tries to explode, doesn't have as much in the tank, but he still got something. And then in the third round, he's in survival mode. I just got to do whatever I got to do to make sure I'm not knocked out or submitted. That's it. You can win the round as long as it's not a 10-8. I don't care. And that's the awkwardness you have. Excuse me, against a guy like Dawkins who doesn't care. No. He doesn't care. You know, and on top of that, right now, after coming off that win he had against what's his name? The black dude. Shoot.
Oh man. I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of the name.
Where is he? Hold on. Pickett. There it is. Pickett. Which I had Pickett winning. I had Pickett winning, by the way. That last second submission. Shout out to him on that one, bro. Yeah. But he wants to be ranked. But he wants to be ranked.
Yeah.
And I think this is gonna fuel him to basically straight up be like, yo, like, I think he's gonna come out angry. I think round one, I think they're both. I don't want to say they're both going to be swinging crazy, but I do think both of them are going to try to come out with a point to prove.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, and this is just me, but I think it ends in the first round by knockout. And I think Kyle's going to be the first one to land something. If Roman can somehow get out of the first round, I don't think that'll bode well for him. Because I think in the second round, he's going to be double tired. Because A, of the output he needs to put out to keep up. And B, people don't understand this. When you get hit, you lose energy.
Oh, yeah. When you get hurt, it affects your cardio a lot.
A lot. So I think a combination of those two is going to put Roman in an awkward situation where he's going to be way too tired. And if Roman wants any chance, he's going to have to try to knock out Kyle in round one. Because once you start going to round two, she's gonna keep it up with that output.
The longer the fight goes, it favors Dawkins.
Say again?
I said the longer the fight goes, I think it favors Dawkins.
100%. 110%.
I think the other X factor is going to be Kyle Dawkins' takedown defense because Doldis is going to go for that takedown. And if Dawkins can keep him from taking him down, I think Dawkins is going to knock him out.
Especially round two. Round two is where you're going to see a lot of takedowns from Roman. That's what you're going to see.
And Dawkins isn't a bad grappler either. So, I mean, he has good grappling as well. But the takedown defense, I think, is going to be a big factor because Dawkins don't want to be on his back with Doldis on top.
No, you don't.
But I have Dawkins winning the fight. I think he's going to end up knocking him out. And you said Dawkins as well. You said knockout in the first round.
Because I just think, because again, I just think Roman's gonna come out and understand. I'm gonna have to have a lot of output. Yeah. And I think Dawkins, he doesn't mind. He's the type of dude that, yo, if you wanna go punch for punch, I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
So I think when you get those two things and you combine them, I think round 1 is going to be very, very vicious. And I think Roman's going to get gassed before the halfway mark. And then Kyle's just going to pick him apart. Because like I said, it's not just the throwing. It's the contact you're going to have to take too.
Yeah.
And I think you combine that, he's going to be way too fatigued. And I think by the time he tries to go for a takedown, he's going to be too hurt. He's going to be way too hurt.
All right. Next fight, Darren Wynn versus Philip Haas. Haas is a minus 295 favorite. Wynn's a plus 220 underdog.
That's
Wynn
crazy
just-
because
I don't know,
I'm looking at these odds right here because I'm on the UFC's website. Haas is a minus 240 and Wynn is a plus 195.
Damn, that's a big difference.
Massive.
UFC goes by DraftKings. I'm on FanDuel, so but yeah, that's it's crazy how big of a difference you get from book to book.
Massive. It's insane.
That's why if you are a sports bettor, you got to check all the different books so you can get the best value.
Yep,
If you
100%.
just use one sports book, you might. I mean, you're losing money. You get that the best number you can get it at.
Right.
But what are your thoughts on this fight? I think this could be a good fight, but I think Hall's is going to be too much for Wynn.
This right here to me is a very odd fight. Very odd fight. What Darren Wynn reminds me of a lot, and it's just how he fights and also a little bit of his body style, of how his body looks. He reminds me of a middleweight version of Daniel Cormier.
Yep, I was thinking that last night when I was watching some fights. I was thinking that I was like, man, he's like a miniature Cormier.
That's what he is. A guy who he wants to take down and looks like the most unathletic guy ever.
He just don't have Cormier's cardio.
That's the only thing. And but the reason why people aren't really concerned with his cardio, he's very good at masking his cardio issues. So what he'll do is he'll take you down, wait 10 seconds, then he'll move, wait 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Then he'll be active. So he's active in spurts, but the difference between him and Roman, like the previous fight we were talking about, Roman doesn't mask it. He just goes balls to the wall. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
Wynn at least understands I got a cardio problem, and there's some ways I can kind of go around it. If it stays on the feet, I do believe that Phil Haas is going to get the win. I don't think that's.
Yeah, that's going to be the X factor if it stays on the feet. Take down.
And I was about to say because as of right now, Haas he's got a 100% takedown defense.
Yeah, and he has a 7.5 inch reach advantage in this fight. So on the feet, and Haas is good. He's a good striker from distance.
Right, he's a great striker from distance.
Yeah,
so if
I think Haas is going to be too much, because I think Haas is going to be able to stop those takedowns. But if Wynn can get the fight on the ground.
If you get the fight on the, but that's the thing. Like, I'm more concerned because this isn't a situation where, it's not like the only reason why Phil Haas has great takedown defense because he's got phenomenal balance, right? That's not what it is. The problem why it's so hard to take down Phil Haas is because, like you said, at a distance, you're getting tagged so much that by the time you actually go for that takedown, you're tired. You're kind of drained. Now you combine that, he also does have great balance. And this is a guy who's pretty solid on the ground too.
Which I was going to say, his wrestling's underrated.
Exactly. So this is like what people are trying to say is Phil Haas is like a black Conor McGregor, where the only reason why his takedowns are so good is just because he's hitting people and they're tired. And I'm like, that is so far from the truth. Like, yeah, sure, that's a factor, but this dude can also on the ground still looks comfortable because he knows what he's doing. This is, you know what I mean? This isn't a guy who as soon as he gets on the ground is just like, welp, what do I do now? That's not what this is.
No.
This is a dude who on the ground is extremely comfortable. His takedown defense is because of a whole bunch of things. It's because he's got great balance. It's because he's good at wrestling. He understands wrestling. He understands angles. He understands to properly sprawl. And then something that's very underrated, after you sprawl, he understands how to put himself in a position where he can now be the aggressor instead of just getting up and pushing off. He can now put himself in a very comfortable situation. So I want to go with Darren Wynn so bad, but I just think there's too much.
I think Hall's going to be able to keep my distance, and it's going to be. I think that can make it a long fight for Wynn.
Right, and that's the thing. Like when it comes to it, I don't know. But again, even on the feet, Darren Wynn might be able to take care of himself.
Yeah, I mean he has good power.
He does, but again, the concern I have, and I think you and I share the same
on the inside.
Yeah, it's the length for me when it comes to Phil Hall. And the scary part about it is I've seen a lot of fighters with length just fight. Phil Hall uses his length, and he understands, like, I can keep you at bay and put you in an awkward situation where all of a sudden, instead of being able to fight comfortably, you're now worried because of what I can do, because I can keep you at bay. You now seem pressure. So now heading into the third, you're now like, I got to force a takedown, which again falls right into Phil Hawes's, it falls right into his hands. So I want to so bad, but I have no choice. I gotta go Phil Hawes.
All right, so both of us was with Hawes on that fight. Next fight, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even realize fucking Eddie Wineland was still fighting, but you got Cody Stamen against Eddie Wineland. Stamen is a minus 590 favorite. Eddie Wineland's a plus 390. I can't believe Eddie Wineland's still fighting. Like, cause I remember watching him way back in the WEC days.
Mm-hmm. But way.
But I'll tell you what, I think this could be a real good fight. Stamen's takedown defense kind of worries me a little bit. But Wineland, his cardio and his chin are a little bit questionable to me. So I favor Stamen in the fight because I think Stamen's grappling. I think he'll be able to get the takedown, and if he gets Wineland on his back, I think Wineland could be in some trouble. But you can't count Wineland out with his boxing because he has some great boxing. But he's 1-4 in his last 5. He hasn't. But Stamen's 1-3-1 over his last 5. Stamen has good cardio. Wineland, we've seen him both ways a little bit throughout his career. So I'm leaning towards Stamen in this fight, but Wineland's boxing does kind of scare me a little bit.
So, what were the odds again for you?
Wineland is plus 390, Stamen minus 590.
I'm gonna go Stamen. Both guys coming off of losses, but I expect a reckless fight. I expect them both to go balls to the wall. Multiple reasons for me. First of all, Cody Stamen, they did an interview with him. I think it was last week, the week before last. And he basically said that, like, in order to be one of those top bantamweights, you can't be scared to let your hands go.
Yep.
So I think going into this fight, he's going to have that mentality in his head, and he's going to let his hands go. Combine that with the fact that Eddie Wineland, his jaw has not been the same.
Nope.
And it's just age. You know, again, this guy's older than my grandfather, and you can tell by the mustache he rocks. Okay. This is an old dude. Okay. Combined with all of that, a guy who's just going to go out there and his output has been dropping significantly. You're fighting a youngster who not only lands more per minute, but lands his significant strikes at a higher percentage.
Yep.
Absorbs less. The defense kind of like averages out a little bit. And then you have a guy who, in terms of takedown, is just phenomenal. I think Eddie Wilder's going to try to go out there. And also, he's an older guy. Let's be honest. When you're at this stage of your career, you start thinking, like you said, bro, we're thinking about him, and we're thinking about him back in the WEC days.
Yeah.
How many of those guys in the WEC are really left? I can only think of two.
Yep.
I can only think of two of them. That's Jose Aldo and Dominic Cruz. And Dominic Cruz only fights part-time. That's it.
Yeah.
If there's anybody else, please feel free to correct me. Please feel free.
Trying to think.
But outside of these three,
Cerrone, did Cerrone fight in WEC early in his career? Maybe?
But didn't he retire?
Oh yeah, he's retired. Yeah, he's retired.
Yeah, I was about to say,
fighting on this card. No, Cerrone's fighting on this card.
Oh no, he's fighting Joe Lozon, isn't
he? Yeah, he's fighting.
That's
on this
four
card.
then. That's four. Yeah, because I know. Yeah. Donald Cerrone fought in the WEC. So yeah, that's four. So that's four. And honestly, I'm glad you brought him up because guess what? Of those guys, Dominic Cruz is not going to get another title shot. He's over the hill. Okay. Donald Cerrone is just fighting a fight at this point.
Yeah, because he just loves to fight.
That's it, right? Like, that's it. Like,
I'm used to fight like every 4 weeks. Just give me a fight. I don't care.
bro, he saw Kevin Holland's schedule, was like, bitch, I want that, Dana. Make it happen, yo.
Well, it was a couple years ago. he fought like 3 fights within like 2 months or something. It seemed like it was like boom, boom, boom.
Yep, he was there, and it was just him stepping up. Like they would ask him. I remember one of those fights. I think it was the first fight. He had a black eye, and he went to the second fight. His black eye still hasn't healed. Yeah, didn't heal. So like they were like it was getting targeted. And he went to that third, like the last fight he did. Basically, the entire time he had a black eye, and it was shut. This guy, Donald Cerrone, tried to take another fight, and Dana was like, "Hold on, let me see that eye real quick, brother." And they did. they evaluated him. This is how much of a savage Donald Cerrone is. While they were testing him, they were doing the old thing where your eyes closed, so they cover this side. And they kind of do like the numbers thing. He brought some people with him. Somebody had their hand on his back.
Yep.
Saw the numbers and tapped his back. You heard this story. Yep. He tapped his back on how many fingers they were holding up. I can't remember if it was Dana or the doctor, but somebody peeped there and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to have him by himself." They put him by himself and he failed miserably.
Yeah.
And they told Dana, and then Dana was like, "Donald, go home." He said, "Go home."
And that's something. That's something a lot of your old boxing trainers used to do.
Yep, they used to do that in the corner while you were doing it. They used to put their thing and they used to touch it on your back, or they would just say, what some of them would do. They would have it already organized. So if the ref was holding up 3, they would say a word that begins with the letter T.
Yep.
Right. So and then they would try to have it be only 3 letters, so that way you could tell the difference between 3 and 2. So it would be tag or either 2 tie, like something like that, like where they differentiate themselves as they do. But yeah, they tried to do that for Donald Cerrone. He almost got away with it if it wasn't for somebody having eagle eyes over in the background.
So we both have Stamen for this fight.
Yes. Yep.
I think Weidman's only chances if he can catch him in the first round.
Right. I'm with you. I think he's going to
I think he's going to get hit, and that's what worries me because of his chin.
He's going to get hit hard, bro. He really is. That's and it's scary. It really is scary, but unfortunately, this game doesn't care about you. It's rough. It's brutal. So,
and when you're getting up and you're 37, 38 years old, your body's starting to get where it's not made to keep doing this no more.
Exactly. Right. So and for me, that's really the problem. So hell of a career, but
yeah, like I said, I didn't even realize he was still fighting. I was like, man, I remember watching him way back in the day, early in the UFC stuff.
I think his last couple fights have been on prelims and stuff, I think.
He's on the prelims again, so that makes sense.
Yeah, he hasn't really been fighting that much, which
Next fight, Gloria DePaula against Maria Oliveira. DePaul is a minus 295 favorite. Oliveira is a plus 220 underdog on the DraftKings odd or not DraftKings, FanDuel odds. Oh.
So the odds I got here, I got Maria at plus 215. I got DePaula at a minus 265.
So pretty close. I was minus 295 over here for DePaula. So you get better. Hell, DraftKings had better odds on this fight as well. But I think this will be an interesting fight. But I like DePaula in this fight because I think she's gonna be able to take Oliveira down. Plus, she has good striking, and Oliveira's cardio has been to me is a question mark. Where DePaula has good cardio, so I think DePaula is gonna win this fight.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Maria Oliveira, and I'm gonna go with her. My thing is, she's got sneaky strength.
Yeah,
she really does. Like if you were to look at her, you would think, oh no, she's got she's got sneaky strength. Like you get tagged by her a couple times, and you're gonna feel it. And for me, it's gonna come down to can she stop the panic takedowns, not the takedown, just the panic ones. Because what DePaula does, and she does a great job with this. Her grappling is suspect, but where she thrives is when she's hurt. When she's hurt, she understands how to grapple you in a way to buy her time. She's good at that. Oliveira needs to do what she can to, if you rock her, great. Do not let her grab you and drag you down. Because once you start doing that, you're going to start getting frustrated. Then they're going to open herself up. Because how DePaula likes to fight, she loves the frustration in the game. She likes to frustrate you and get you flustered. So that way you then open yourself up to you getting hit. Now, the concern I have, one of the big concerns I have with Oliveira, she gets hit a lot. She absorbs a lot of strikes. Now, for someone like Gloria, she's gonna like that because all she needs is that one little takedown that makes Oliveira panic, that makes her get uncomfortable, opens herself up. Then Gloria's gonna have a field day and start piecing her up. I'm gonna say that Oliveira is not gonna panic. This is me reaching now. Okay. I think Maria does not panic. I think she steadies it, and I think she ends up getting the win.
All right, so we're opposite on. That's the first one we're opposite on. I think, like I said, I think it'll be a good fight. But I just think DePaula is going to get her like you said with those strikes. And Oliveira's cardio kind of worries me a little bit. But the next fight is Danny Chavez against Ricardo Ramos. Ramos is a big favorite at minus 330. Chavez at plus 240. Chavez is the older fighter at 35 years old. He's 11-4-1. Ramos is 15-4, 6-3 in the UFC. I think this is going to be a good fight, but I think I'm actually calling for the upset here. I think Chavez is going to get the win over Ramos. So,
by the way, for the DraftKings betting on the UFC site, there is no odds for this fight. So,
wonder if weigh-ins would be what today sometime, so maybe something happened.
Maybe
the FanDuel hasn't changed anything yet.
But yeah, but for me, because you want to go Danny Chavez. I don't know. I'll go Chavez. I'll go Chavez only because I think this fight's going to go the distance. And going the distance, no disrespect to Ricardo, but going the distance, I don't think that's going to bode him well.
Yeah, I think
You know what I
the
mean?
longer the fight goes, favors Chavez.
Chavez, right? And like I said, I don't see. Um, that's just me, man. I don't see him because in his last 3, he got knocked out.
Yep.
Right? He got knocked out by Murphy. Beat Algio, great, and then lost a decision to Takungov.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. I also do like Chavez. Like I said, the longer the fight goes, I do like it voting his way. So I don't think this is gonna be a knockout or submission like that. I think it's going the distance. So I got Danny Chavez doing it.
Both of us going with the big underdog there. Then you have Court McGee against Jeremiah Wells. Court McGee's a slight favorite at -125, and Wells is at -102, according to FanDuel. So that's pretty close to a pick 'em.
Yeah. Over here on DraftKings, 110 plus 110 for Court McGee, -130 for Jeremiah Wells. So
I was gonna say McGee opened as an underdog on FanDuel, but now he's a favorite. Now he's a slight favorite on FanDuel. He's still an underdog on DraftKings.
Yep. He's
that's another one. That's another one. If you like McGee, check out DraftKings because that's another one to get better odds.
Exactly. Yeah, and at the same time, and again, you know, it's also close too.
And so I would love to get McGee at plus money because that's who I think is going to win this fight. If you can get him at plus money, that's good value.
Oh, great value, great value. For me, and this is just me, you don't have a chin like that and not knock somebody the fuck out. That's just my opinion on this fight is not based on any facts. This is with a beard with how Court McGee has. You need to go and knock this guy out. He lands more, he throws more, and he can take a hit. Court McGee can take a hit, no problem. And he again, people want to see Jeremiah Wells. He can stop the takedown. Okay, fine, cool. Who cares? Because Court McGee doesn't go for takedowns. So it's like the one strength, like one of the biggest strengths Jeremiah Wells has that he can stop takedowns won't matter at all. Why? Because Court McGee doesn't go for takedowns.
No,
that's not his game.
You know, he's a boxer.
Right. He's a stand-up banger. So for me, that's really what it comes down to. And for him being a boxer, Jeremiah Wells isn't really that good with takedowns either. So again, him trying to take down Court McGee, that's not really going to bode well for him either. So I just think I think
the cardio favors McGee as well.
Yeah, 100%. So I just think in all the important factors for this particular fight, I think 90% of the edges go to Court McGee. I think the only edge I personally give Jeremiah Wells, I give him 2. The fact that he lands more significant strikes, not overall strikes, but just significant strikes. He does land at a better connect percentage, and he's kind of mobile, so he doesn't really get tagged as often as other fighters do. So I give him those 2 things. But again, when you have a guy throwing a large amount of output, you're eventually gonna get tagged. Court McGee has that one tap power where he'll accidentally bump into you, and next thing you know, you wake up in the hospital. So I got Court McGee here, knockout round 2.
All right, so we both have McGee in that one. Next fight, Jasmine Juzistovich, some of these names, and Natalia Silva. The Juzistovich is -265. Silva is +200.
Call her. I'm just calling her Jasmine because I'm. I have no odds for this one. So. Yeah, that's this one and one more. The next fight we're going to talk about, there's no odds for that one either, so God bless him. Jasmine has a 3-inch reach advantage and a 2-inch leg reach advantage. Is she going to use that? Who knows? Probably not, because this is an individual who loves – she fights a lot like Kamaru Usman, where she wants to go to the decision. She's more comfortable dragging the fight along. She's got the cardio to do it. She, when she needs to make contact, she can. However, the problem is, even though she's a solid grappler, guess who else is a nice grappler? The girl she just happens to be fighting, Natalia Silva. And to one-up it, she can make you tap out. She could break your neck, your arms, and your legs at the same time.
Has 7 submission wins.
Exactly. So I think with this fight, Jasmine's gonna want it to go the distance, but it's gonna be a little awkward for her because a lot of fighters who like making it go in the distance, like the fighters who prefer the distance, the Usmans of the world, the Jan Blachowicz of the world. But back when he got the title, because when he got the title, he didn't mind going there. He still had the Polish power, but he would have preferred that. The Daniel Cormiers of the world, the even the GSPs before GSP was, before people started calling him a knockout artist or whatnot. Like the reason why they don't mind it going the distance is because they know they can keep up with you on the feet and on takedowns. In this fight, half of that is basically going to be at the minimum a stalemate because again, Natalia can make you tap. So you don't want to put yourself, if you're Jasmine, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're going to end up getting tapped out because you want to go to the ground. So I'm going to go with Natalia Silva. Natalia Silva submission. I'll go round 3.
So I'm going with Silva too. Only thing that worries me about Silva is that she hasn't fought in 2 years and 4 months. So that's the only thing that worries me about. That's one thing that does worry me about Silva. But I think Silva her grappling's just as good, if not better, than Jasmine's. And like I said, on submission, she can submit you from any position. And so I look forward to probably be a submission as well. But I'm gonna go with Silva. Just that she hasn't fought in a while is the only thing that kind of worries me.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I like to see you fight, not take 2 years off.
Right.
Then you have a feature fight on the prelims: Adrian Yanez against Tony Kelly.
Am I the only one who doesn't care about this?
I don't think this is going to be a real great fight either.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't bugging.
Yanez is minus 330. Kelly's plus 240. I'm kind of surprised this was like the featured prelim. I think the one fight. Look, I think Chavez and Ramos would have been better, or man, you can pick about any of them. But anyway,
right.
I know everybody favors Yanez because he's younger, but man, I think Kelly is going to be right there. But what worries me about Kelly is his striking defense isn't very good, and that's a bad thing against a boxer like Yanez. So even though I think Kelly can make it a good fight, I'm gonna go with Yanez because he has good boxing, and Kelly's striking defense is just not very good.
Yeah. For me, I agree. You had Yanez, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to make sure because I'm gonna go Yanez. And the reason why I'm going with him is, in my opinion, there's a lot of pressure. If Yanez doesn't win this fight, we're gonna be looking at him a little weird.
Yes.
Because we're not gonna know what to really do with him anymore. So for granted, I know it's unfair to say that because I think he's on a 8-fight win streak. I believe it's on a 8. Yeah. But a lot of the guys that he's fought has been
yeah, not the highest level of competition.
Right. So I think after this fight, if he wins, he needs to start facing some ranked guys. He's gonna have to.
Yep.
Because if we continue to just give this kid just nobodies, not gonna matter at all. Won't matter at all. So for me, I'm go Yanez. Or Yanez, but begrudgingly, like I said, I have no expectations for this fight at all. In all honesty, man, I really don't.
No, I don't either. I know Kelly's striking defense is terrible. That's the only reason I favor Yanez because Kelly's a pretty good boxer herself.
Right.
I mean,
but the only problem is excuse me, he lets himself get hit.
Yep.
Which is kind of dangerous because sometimes, it doesn't have to be the hardest hit that drops you.
No, just in the right spot.
Exactly. So with him being that eager to open himself up and to get hit and to say whatever, man, yeah, it is concerning.
All right. Now we'll jump to the main card, which I think this main card has a few decent fights on it. First fight's Gregory Rodriguez against Julian Marquez. Rodriguez is a minus 205 favorite. Marquez is a plus 158 underdog, and that's not what I was trying to do. Damn phone has a mind of its own sometimes. No, this is going to be a good fight. Rodriguez is 11-4, Marquez 9-2. I like Rodriguez in this fight due to he has good wrestling. He's the more well-rounded fighter with his good striking, good wrestling, and power. Marquez has good striking, pretty good wrestling as well. Both these fighters are 4-1 over their last 5, so I think it's going to be a real good fight. But I favor Gregory Rodriguez in this fight.
So in terms of the odds over here, oh god, we are on DraftKings. Gregory Rodriguez is a minus 195 favorite. Marquez is a plus 165 underdog. So
you get better again. You get better odds on DraftKings on this one too.
So yeah, I tell people this all the time. Always look at 2 and go back and forth because that will always
Yeah, when I do every once in a while, I put like a little parlay in, and I do that. I search to see where I can get the best odds at.
Oh, definitely. But right here, for me, it really comes down to one thing for me. Is Rodriguez going to properly utilize his reach? He's got a 3-inch reach advantage with his hands, and he's got a 2-inch reach advantage with his legs. Is he going to use it? If he does, which I think he will, I see him winning the fight. If he doesn't, and he just tries to go into this stupid brawl for all type of situation, it will not favor him because he takes too much damage. He takes way too much damage for a guy to be brawling like that. So I'm gonna go with Rodriguez only because I do think he's gonna use his advantage to his ability. But if Marquez can get in the pocket, it's gonna be rough for Rodriguez. But I'm gonna go Rodriguez for this one.
Both of us have Rodriguez. Next one is Damir Ismagulov against Kutadazi. Some of these names. Ismagulov is a minus 178 favorite, and Kutadazi is a plus 138 underdog. Ismagulov is 23-1. He's a good striker. He's a good, well-rounded fighter. Has 12 knockouts to his credit. Only question with him is a little bit can be his cardio toward the end of the fight sometimes.
Yep.
He's 5-0 over his last 5. But Kutadazi is 12-2. He has good power. Doesn't have much grappling, but he's a good striker. He has 7 knockouts, so he's 5-0. So both of these fighters are coming in hot. But I like Ismagulov in this fight because I think he can, if he needs to, he can get it down to the ground and have the advantage there.
I 100% agree because we're looking at a situation where both of them can punch, both of them can connect, and both of them have power. And in my opinion, I don't care who you think is better. The difference is not immense. It's not a drastic difference where you can be like, oh yeah, look, Ismagulov, he can, he's nice. Look around, bro. The difference isn't like that. So now I start looking at, all right, now let's say it's just tied up on the hands. What if somebody wants to work a takedown? How would they fare? And everything just favors Ismagulov. It just favors him immensely. So I'm going to go with him. He's more well-rounded. I'm not even going to go through the whole thing with experience or anything like that. I'm just looking at a guy who right now, well-rounded. Excuse me. Obviously, he's putting it together because, like you said, 5-0 in his last 5. So I'm with him. I think you and I both agree. Because of his well-roundedness, I think Ismagulov is probably going to walk away with the win.
Yeah, I think Ismagulov has more ways to win the fight than what Kutadazi does.
Yes, 100%.
And then next fight is Albert Durarev against Joaquin Buckley. Durarev is a minus 260 favorite. Buckley's a plus 196 underdog. Durarev is 15-3. He has 9 submissions to his credit, so he's going to be trying to get this fight to the ground.
Yep.
His striking is not terrible, but it's not great either.
Yeah, his striking is just there to set up the submission.
Yep. And then with Buckley, he throws high volume and has good power, but his takedown defense is questionable and his cardio is questionable. And you don't want to go into a fight against Durarev with not having good takedown defense. That's why I favor Durarev in this fight because, again, yes, Buckley is the striker, but I think Durarev is going to be able to get him to the ground and kind of negate that. So I like Durarev to win this fight.
So according to DraftKings, Durarev is a minus 200 favorite. Buckley is a plus 170 underdog. So I heard everything you said. However, I'm gonna go with Buckley, and I'm gonna go with Buckley for one reason and one reason only. I think his power is gonna be enough to worry Durarev to the point where he's gonna be in essence showing I want the takedown. And I think every time he does that, he's just gonna I think Buckley's just gonna leg kick the shit out of him. As soon as he tries.
Hey, Buckley's not a bad fighter at all by any means. So I mean, yeah.
But I do get what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like again, he struggles with takedowns. Durarev is gonna look for the takedown. You know, so I do get it, but I do think Buckley can do some things to kind of protect himself from the takedown even happening.
Especially if Buckley could hurt him early. If Buckley could hurt him early, that changes a lot of it.
100%. And for me, this is just how I look at it. Durarev is going to shoot for takedowns, and I think Buckley's just going to be like, nope, we're not going for this. I think we're going to see honest, and I also do believe because Buckley has been showing videos of him working on his wrestling, and he has been working on his takedowns or his takedown defense. So I do think in this instant,
I think that's the X factor. There is his takedown defense.
100%, because because I will say this, this is going to give me vibes of Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou, the second one, when they were at the Apex, and it was where Stipe went for that first takedown, couldn't get it, got stuffed, and then was like, shit, I gotta bang with you. And then he ends up getting knocked out. I think this is going to give us vibes of that. Durarev is going to go for a takedown. I think it's going to get stopped. And he's going to go, fuck, I got to stand and bang with you. Shit. And then Buckley's going to knock him out. So
yeah, I mean, I can see that happening as well. I think it's going to be a good one. I think Durev's going to be able to take him down, but hey, never know.
And like you said, that the takedown defense, that's going to be not only the biggest X factor, but it's also going to show us if Buckley's bullshitting us. Because like I said, he's been showing that he's been working on it. Have you really been, or are you just doing that for social media? We will find out.
Then we have Kevin Holland against Tim Means. Holland's a big favorite at minus 340. Means is plus 250. Holland's 29 years old. Means is 38. Means has been fighting for a long time.
So over here on DraftKings, Tim Means is a plus 180 underdog, and Holland is a minus 220 favorite.
Oh, so it's a lot closer.
Oh, super closer. Super.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm torn on this fight because I love Tim Means. I just like his style. He's a gritty guy. He's going there, throw high volume. And he has great boxing. But Holland ain't no slouch either. And he has good striking distance. Yeah, it depends on which Holland you get as well. And is Holland has a 5-inch reach advantage. Is he going to use that to his advantage? Because he's a decent grappler. He has 7 submissions. Means has 5. I've been back and forth on this fight for all week. Like I said, I really like Means. I could see Means beating Holland. I understand Means is 38 years old and Holland is 29. but I see a path where Means wins this fight. And Means has been hot, 4-1 over his last 5. Holland's 2-2-1 with one no contest. Uh, I think I'm gonna go with Means. More I think about it, I like it, the high volume he throws, and I think he's gonna be, if he does get taken down, it's not like he's a slouch on the ground either. So
So this one for me is a risk.
I think Means needs to get this fight in the clinch. He needs to get the clinch, get him up against the cage,
Yeah.
make it a slow grinding fight.
So here's my concern with those fights. What Kevin Holland am I gonna get? Am I gonna get the banger or am I gonna get the goofball?
Yeah.
But then I started thinking, does it matter which one we get this fight? I personally don't think it matters. Kevin Holland can come out with a broken arm, a separated shoulder, destroyed, liver, broken ribs, fractured jaw, ruptured spleen, could be crippled, then dead, and I would take him right now over Tim Means.
Damn.
I'm not even trying to disrespect Tim Means, but no way.
Oh no, I mean I like Tim Means, but like I said, I've always been a fan of his style of fighting. So
for me, for Kevin Holland, this is the fight he needs to win. If he loses this fight,
if he loses
this fight, forget the UFC is probably gonna cut him. They're gonna cut him, or they're gonna let his contract run out, and he's gonna got to go to Bellator or one championship or something like that if he wants to continue to fight. And honestly, I don't even think any of those guys will touch him. Maybe Bellator. I think Bellator will touch him. I think Bellator will. But
you took Holland.
I'm taking Holland. He cannot lose this fight. He cannot lose this fight. If he loses this fight, dude, no. Clinch, pinch, dinch, finch, doesn't matter, bro. If Kevin Holland loses, you can make a legitimate argument his career's on the line right here. You can make a legitimate argument his career's on the line. I didn't try to got the spin on his deathbed. Bro, he needs to win. And listen, and I think this is a thing where my feelings are getting in the way. Because I love me some Kevin Holland. I really do, a little too much. And I can't justify my love for him. I can't justify it. Really can't. So I do like Kevin Holland needs to win this. That's all I'm gonna say. He needs to win this.
And then in the co-main event, this is one of the fights on the card I really was interested in seeing. Donald Cerrone against Joe Lazzone. Cerrone's a minus 178 favorite. Lazzone's a plus 138 underdog.
So here,
39-year-old against a 38-year-old.
It's Donald Cerrone, bro. It's gonna be a banger.
I love Cerrone. He's one of my favorites of all time.
Oh yeah, he doesn't give a shit. Over here on DraftKings, Cerrone's a minus 165. Lazzone is a plus 145. So,
hey, if you're going to bet on the UFC, go to DraftKings. They seem to have the better odds.
That's what it looks like. I don't know why.
Every fight so far, their odds have been better than FanDuel.
I'm gonna take Cerrone here.
Yeah, I'm taking Cerrone as well. Only way Cerrone wins this fight is if he can hurt Cerrone. But I think Cerrone's going to be able to use his reach and his kicks and stuff to kind of keep Lazzone out of range. I'm going with Cerrone as well, even though I know he's 0-4-1 in his last 5. Lazzone's 2-3 over his last 5. Lazzone does have 17 submissions, but so does Cerrone. Both of them have knockout power, but I'm going with the Cowboy at least one more time.
Yeah, I mean, look, Lazzone hasn't fought in forever, so in my eyes, literally forever. The last big name he fought was back in 2017. That was Clay Guida, and that was Clay Guida was washed. So, it says that he fought one more time and lost to Grutzmacher. And then it says he fought Pierce. They don't say who won or lost though on a fight night. So I don't know if he had won this one, lost this one. I don't know what the whole thing with this one is. Hold on, let me see. So I think he won. He had a win. So look at some of these stats. This is not the stat of a man who lost. Regardless, the last time he stepped in the octagon was in 2019.
Yeah.
3 years later. Yeah, fuck that noise, bro. Like if you're a youngster, all right, maybe you can get away with it. But look at him, bro. Look at him. He's old as shit. Nah.
Then
So
the
this
main
fight's gonna be like
event.
watching a Lakers game. Nothing but old guys fighting for an AARP card.
I have to put that one up there so everybody can see it. All right, then we have the main event of the evening after the, which is up next. You have Calvin KATTAR at -265, Josh Emmett at +200. Qatar's 34 years old. Emmett's 37. Qatar has a 23-5 record. He's a good boxer. He's going to have a 2-inch reach advantage in this fight. I think it's going to be interesting because Emmett's power. I think Emmett's power could give Qatar some trouble. I've been kind of back and forth on it, but I think I'm going to go with Qatar just because he throws a lot more volume and he's going to keep the pressure on Emmett. And I think he might be keeping Emmett move backwards and going to negate a little bit of that power. But you can't count him out because, like I said, he has some good power in his hands.
I'm never ever. Listen. I'm not betting against Qatar for a while now. Last time people bet him was when he fought Chikadze, and everyone was like, Chikadze is gonna beat the mess out of him. Someone let me know what happened. Oh yeah, he beat the shit out of Chikadze.
That's the other reason I went with Qatar because he burned me last time.
Yeah.
Like I have a rule in baseball: I never bet against Adam Wainwright because every time I bet against Adam Wainwright, I've lost.
Magically turns back the hands of freaking time. Yeah, he turns back the hands of freaking time. That guy. For me, man, look, listen, I got Qatar. I think Qatar's boxing is very underrated, which is weird to say because that's really what he's known for. But I think his boxing is extremely underrated. His head movement, the way he can move around the octagon, it's very, very, very impressive. So shout out to him. Nothing against Josh Emmett, really not. But I just think when you have a guy like Josh Emmett who doesn't really care for takedowns and wants to stand and bang, I think it's very dangerous to stand and bang with a guy like Calvin Kattar. Or a Kattar, I'm sorry. Calvin Kattar. Why is it Kattar? I don't know. I think I'm half stupid right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a you don't want to stand and bang with him, and that's why Emmett has. He's not a grappler. He's going to get in there and bang.
Right. So for me, I don't, and this is just me, man. I don't see any. I'm not gonna say there's any way Josh Emmett can't win because when you have two boxers, obviously, someone clips them. We got a whole other conversation. But in my opinion, right now, man, Calvin Kattar has every single advantage in the book. I'm not betting against him. I've been telling people have been sleeping on Calvin Kattar. I understand he lost to Max Holloway. I get it, but what people do to try to Max Holloway is a banger. Dude is a savage. Has been a savage his entire career. So losing to Max Holloway does not in turn make you a bum. Does it make you not championship material because he's one of the top 3 guys? Sure, but that doesn't mean he's a bum. Calvin Kattar, and on top of that, I think this fight and his next fight will let us know if because I think he learned something from that Max Holloway fight. I really do. I think he learned something, and I think now he's starting to apply it, which is kind of why we're kind of seeing a little more patient, a little more tactical and IQ-driven Kattar. Before he was just standing and banging. Now we're kind of seeing a little more of the IQ aspect from his game. So I got Calvin Kattar, and after this fight, I think he fights in a number 1 contendership match. Probably gets a rematch against Max Holloway if Max loses against Volkanovski. He probably ends up facing the loser of that, and then put him right back in the title hunt. So let's see how it goes for him.
Yeah, I like Kattar in this fight. Like I said, he's going to be too much for him, and I believe on their feet, and that's Emmett's game. Before we get out of here, I'll give you guys my best bets for the baseball games today. I'm not going to go through all the games like I usually do because today was UFC day. That's what we've been doing on Fridays. But my best picks for the day, I like the Giants money line, the New York Yankees money line, the New York Mets money line, the Houston Astros money line, and the San Diego Padres money line. That's the best bets for MLB today. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank Pride for coming on the show.
Yes,
I enjoy
sir.
doing these UFC breakdown shows.
Dude, always a pleasure, bro. Definitely fun being able to talk to someone.
And it's always nice when you do a prediction show like this to have another person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that way we can, that way we can yell at each other.
But no, appreciate you joining. Appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget we're live Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch at Gonzo Sports Room. YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch at ASAP Sports, All Plays Network. Plug your show, Pride. It'll be on here in a couple hours.
Yes, sir. In about an hour and a half, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Profit Takes Podcast. Talk about all things sports, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Got a lot of juicy stuff to get into. We're gonna have some juicy stuff. Plus, I, as a Celtics fan, you guys will hear my reaction of our Game 6 loss. Spoiler alert: it will not be as biased as you think. I promise you, it won't be as biased as you think. But yep, today, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We got that. Plus, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. From saying that's some good shit to doing some dumb shit. My guy's into some hot water. All that and more. So
yeah, I guess
be square.
I guess he's gonna be on SmackDown tonight. Gonna talk to the people is what my dad actually just told me right before we came on here. So we'll see.
After all this came out, they advertised it. I don't know what the point is.
I don't know.
I don't know if he's gonna address it or if he's gonna go, congratulations, Stephanie McMahon, like whatever. I don't know.
He might go some hill shit. You never know with McMahon.
Vince McMahon is gonna try to kill himself again to write himself off TV. He's gonna re-explode his car, and then after that, Chris Benoit's gonna kill his family again, and then he's gonna have to fucking come out of hiding, and then like read something he wrote down about how it's crazy. Shit.
Oh man, it's gonna be interesting to see what all comes out of this.
Yes, sir.
I guess Stephanie's in charge right now, from what I read. So
yep, she's running everything.
No, thanks for joining us. Join us at 6 o'clock for the Prideful Takes podcast. I'll also be live tonight. Almost forgot about it, for Gonzo Sports Room at 11 p.m. Eastern tonight. We'll be talking all things sports. We'll talk last night's NBA Finals game, U.S. Open, just everything that's been going on in sports. So join us for that tonight at 11. But thanks for joining us, and we will see you guys Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern with Easy Money and Sports Betting Show.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.